Thank you everyone for coming this evening. We have some folding chairs. Might be in that, alright, sounds good. Is there any agenda additions or deletions? Anybody have anything? Alright, at this time I'd ask for a motion to approve the August 28th minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second? Alright, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just let the record reflect that I'll be abstaining from voting due to my absence.
Okay. So that's up to the three of us. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? And then we'll get right down to Highway Road Commission report, please.
Just want to give a update on the Rutland Town side of the road on Clarendon Road. Actually, Dave Sears reached out to him twice, and finally he called me back actually this afternoon. Gave him 2 contractor names, and he was very pleased with that. And he was gonna go from there and reach out to see what they could work out. I think other thing other than that would be grading roads and trying to get ready for winter and different things. Pretty much the projects are pretty well wrapped up for this year. With the NMRGP program, we just finished the grant project on Coeur Road, just north of Bob Underhill's place.
That's across Culvers?
North of the ball field. That was a grant project that we just completed.
Yeah.
With culverts and clean and doing ditches.
Yes.
On the borderline road that you're talking about, Patch, there's a few trees that kind of seem to be out in the road. Are those coming down or are they staying
What?
there? There's like a triple tree, and then just further on down, there's another couple that are together. Are those
I'll
staying
have
there?
to look at the location. Oh, you're talking right across from
From,
Gary Williams.
the house that's for sale? The
That's
one with the horse
by
barn?
Eddie Baker's
Oh, on this
driveway.
end.
Yes,
Mhm.
at
On
this
this
end.
end.
Yes,
Okay.
Where the
that's
trees
what I thought we were
right close to
talking
the
about.
road.
Pardon?
Where it narrows, so after you come off the big hill, then you come up head towards the ball field.
Yes,
That's gonna be working at for next year's project.
okay. That's what I was
We
wondering.
also have to
Thank you.
contact the power company
Okay.
because the power lines are right there too.
Some
so-
of that's gonna be, have to hire contractors, to take some of the trees down because of the power
That's
lines
what I
through
was
there.
wondering. Thank you.
After
Okay.
that, there was, the power line, trucks came through, and then there was a tree hanging on the Schoolhouse Hill Road that's ready to come down. And they did nothing regarding
That's
it.
right in the S curves. Yeah, I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
They took that one tree down that was leaning on it and left that one there.
Yeah, that's gonna, down.
And that's gonna affect the power line as well?
But yeah, the power line is on the other side
Or
of
we
it.
make another phone call,
Mm-hmm.
see if we can't get them back up there.
Yep.
So that was on Schoolhouse?
Schoolhouse
Yes.
Hill Road, yes.
Okay.
It's just north of Jeffrey's house and those S turns.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right in there.
I'm surprised they didn't take that down.
No,
I know.
was too.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, because I had planned on that they just take it down there right there. But I'll make a note of that to reach out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Just some clarification. I thought there was going to be a public meeting with Rutland Town, because we had expressed interest in attending that meeting. I do know that they have scheduled a meeting on October 4th at noon for the Highway Committee, and Coeur d'Alene Road is on that agenda. So I would hope that Clarendon is going to be there.
did you have a,
That's
I
been
didn't
scheduled
know
for a
nothing
while.
about that.
Dave Sears didn't mention it?
He finally reached out tonight. It was about 3:30, 4 o'clock. He called me
Think it would be a
for the
good,
first time. And I called him twice in the last 2 weeks.
Can
left
we,
messages.
can, what day was that, August? I
It's
mean,
Wednesday,
October 4th.
if I'm not mistaken,
October.
Wednesday, the 4th of October.
It'll be
And
fourth.
at
Fourth,
noon.
not the fifth.
At noon, so you'd
I
be here.
apologize, maybe it's the 5th.
I was trying to, I'm not sure either.
Can you
It's on a
give him a
Wednesday.
call on
It's on a
that?
Wednesday,
Yeah.
so maybe it is the 5th. I apologize.
Well, I'm maybe screwed up too.
Hello?
No, Wednesday is the 4th.
And you said that was at
Selling
noon?
something. That I-
It is the
Yeah.
4th.
Okay.
The Wednesday is the 4th, and I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I'm remembering correctly, it was the 4th.
12
Okay.
p.m.
Thank you.
That'd be it in Center Rutland?
I
Rutland
believe
Town.
so, for Rutland Town.
Mhm.
Yeah, at the town office.
Right.
Yep. I have the agenda here
That's
somewhere I
actually
can
the first I've heard of it.
verify.
So we're trying, the rest of the week, try and get a hold of them again, or,
I can reach out to them.
yeah? See if that's something that we can
Mhm.
get
Just remember,
interested
if
in.
3 of you are gonna go, I mean, obviously I can't go with my job, but if anybody's gonna go and it's gonna be 3 or more, you gotta warn it.
Warrant
It,
out.
it's already
It's a
warned.
warned meeting.
No,
Oh.
we have.
For
to-
us.
You have to warn it
Oh,
on there, yeah.
gotcha. So it,
If more
Even though
than,
we don't make decisions, we have to, in that meeting,
gotcha.
we have to,
so Katie, you'll have to take a little poll this week and see who's gonna go, so that if,
Yeah.
obviously gotta also see if we're invited, cause if you didn't get notified, it's,
That's the first I've heard of it.
So it's Thursday, October 5th.
Oh, it's okay, Thursday.
Thursday, October 5th, at the Rutland Town Municipal Town Hall. Zoom conferencing is available. And discuss Port Line Road maintenance.
Well, I think if Cash in your communication, we could be there or should be there, and you need more than yourself, I'm happy to be there as well.
I just so not, I'd rather have at least 2 of us go.
Yeah,
If
it makes
we-
sense.
If we do and stuff for it.
let
Well, that's what we
Katie,
did
Katie
the
can
last-
triage it and figure out who's
And
planning.
if
Want
3
three.
wants to
So-
go, it
If
depends
you're
on.
gonna do 3, you gotta have warning, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
see, the last time we agreed to only 2 guys, George and I.
Yeah,
Well, it's just, I mean, remember, even if there's a chance of 3 of you going, you gotta want it.
well, that's a
Otherwise,
safe,
somebody's gotta show up and leave, so. Can't go, so.
And the other thing is, we're trying to maintain the best we can, like Bump Road and East Street, because of the cover bridge, and I'm hoping people are happy with maintenance that we done. Actually, the grader, we're up there today, grading it again, just to keep her tidied up, because the heavier use with the bridge being out. The other thing was, I need to get hold of Mill River High School to find out, and I haven't seen it myself, but I heard there's the bus traffic. Actually, the bus is going all the way up there. Do you know anything about this?
Actually, I saw the bus go down today, down past my house towards the covered bridge, like around noon. And I
Okay.
was like, what the heck's going on at noon today? Was there an early release today or something?
Oh, they did.
Oh, okay.
See, it's my understanding that they were gonna pick everybody up at the top of Bump Road.
Well,
And
they did last year. Now they're going down, and they're also going south on East Street and picking up a student there and turning around down at Kate Taylor's house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I gotta reach out, because there's a new coordinator for the bus route, I guess, now. I don't know who that is, the contact. I just learned about this. Like I said, I haven't seen the bus up there. I haven't been up there that time of day.
Right.
So, and then my issue is, with winter approaching and stuff, yeah, we gotta maintain the road, but we'll try to get that after our main arteries, the tar roads and stuff like that. And we're also in the process of looking at, like I said before, early stages of hiring a 4th person.
They might want to consider where they turn around at Taylor's, because, I mean, it's okay now, but once the snow gets there, that might not.
Whereabouts is Taylor's, I'm not sure.
Kate Taylor down by the little bridge.
No, it's down by the,
Oh, you're
we have
talking
the town
back
forest.
by
Yeah,
the
yeah,
town
he turns
forest.
around there,
In
picks
the-
up one
So
student,
he's going down that far.
one student on that road, and then turning around there and going back.
And he backs into the town forest.
Backs into the town forest and back out again, yeah.
Okay. That's all I have unless somebody's got any questions or anything.
Anybody have any questions for the
Will you
vote?
let Katie know
Yes,
what you
say-
find out this year's and let everybody know in terms of that meeting?
After the meeting, you mean? Or
Yeah.
what, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another thing, I don't know, we actually don't know. We talked about renting a boom lift to, we have a lot of overhanging trees over the roads and stuff. And I've got two loggers that are complaining that breaking CB antennas and stuff like that. We talked about renting a boom lift this summer earlier, but that didn't pan out. So we just, to do a little research, reached out to 3 different companies that actually rent them themselves. United Rentals, they're Albany, New York, and then Sunbelt, and another one's Two Craft. So I don't know. We have a little bit of slack time right now because we're somewhat caught up before snow flies. But I don't know if this is a project we ought to actually put it off until next spring,
Is that something that,
and that'd be a month rental because of to be cost effective.
we should check on the insurance, town insurance, if we
Right.
run into something like that, what the responsibility
Right.
is for the town,
Yeah,
as
this
well as the,
very early stages, and and here we are almost 1st October. So if we had a late fall, it might work out. But then
No way
again,
of knowing where
no
we're
way
gonna land,
to know. And what it seemed like the foliage, I don't know if people have noticed, the trees are starting to really canopy in on the roads wicked.
is there any chance of getting, like Taylor or any of those guys that,
Them tree services are so busy, they're lucky to get them cut a tree down
yeah,
with the scheduling stuff. They're just right out straight.
So at this point, are you thinking maybe something for spring?
That's what I kind of thinking.
Have our ducks in a row and rent it for
Mm-hmm.
a chunk of time in the spring.
Right.
And do it then.
but the insurance thing would be a,
Well, yeah, but
Big.
you
We
gotta,
can do all that
you
late
gotta
work.
winter you can figure out.
This just start the ball rolling.
Figure out
Yeah.
the gray areas.
Yeah.
anything else, Jeff?
No, I guess I'm all set for right now.
Under highway, we also, of course, the roof on the covered bridge is gonna be changed. So we were discussing,
You need a vote on the grants and aid extension first.
Yeah, if you want me to give some clarification.
Hi there.
The grants and aid project deadline is September 30th of this year, but because of the flooding that the state experienced, they granted an extension for September 30th of next year. We completed our project, but we did not max out the grant, so we want to carry that balance and do a project next year.
Make a motion that we approve the extension. Does the chairman need to sign it, or
yeah, right here.
with a signature by the chairman?
And to add to that, we actually can't do any construction work beyond September 30th.
For that.
For that.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All right, is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Oh, yeah.
Anyone opposed? All right, now,
Also, in the interest of time, I make a motion that we approve the color forest green as previously discussed for Kingsley Bridge roof.
Second.
is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That's a good color because it's a darker color and it won't fade like this other one did.
Who seconded the color?
George did.
And a FEMA update,
I can chime in on this.
Yeah, hope
The
so.
disaster DR4720 is the flooding that occurred in July. So we requested public assistance for a couple different sites in town. So we've done the first initial steps of having an exploratory call, and then we had a scoping meeting last week. So we're working towards getting those projects off the ground, but it's looking like they'll be completed next construction season. So
Was South Creek Road one of them?
Yes. And this is, oh my goodness. Them people, none of those organizations talk to one another, and they all got different.
Welcome to working with the federal government.
Oh my goodness.
I remember I came on this board right after Irene, and we were dealing with all that red tape back then. Unbelievable. And they don't.
They don't
None
talk
of
to
them
each other. Everybody's got different opinion how to
Yep.
do that project.
None of them talk to each other.
All right, Casella recycling contract, you must have something to say.
Sure.
Okay.
So, we had a contract with the town for 10 years. And recycling, we also had a contract to handle trash. And, the 10 years is up, and the recycling markets have changed quite dramatically in the last 10 years. So I provided, basically a summary of the new contract terms and kind of what has happened with the recycling markets. Over the first 5 years of the contract, it worked pretty well with the formula we were using. And over the last 5 years, it did not. And it actually costs us $12,000 every time we called. Well, over that 5-year period, it costs $12,000 for us to haul recycling.
Total or per incident or what?
Per ton. So it's, currently for 2023, our cost when we haul your recycling is $82 a ton. And that's just because of the way the average commodity revenue value is and the way how much the actual recycling facility is charging per ton. So at this stage in the Northeast, it's more expensive to get rid of recycling than it is to get rid of trash.
That doesn't surprise me.
So
Is there, now how much equipment do you guys have?
So you- So you own the trash compactor by itself. That was purchased in 2013 through us. And we own all the containers and the recycling compactor.
You do all the maintenance?
We do all the maintenance. If there's any maintenance on the trash compactor, we charge you. We also do yearly maintenance, preventative maintenance on those compactors.
you do charge us, or you do not for the?
We should be charging you
Oh, okay.
for the trash compactor.
Yeah, but we don't. What does that add, this proposed contract, what does that add to our overall?
So your overall cost for the last 12 months is $44,000. And depending on where the charge for the recycling per ton lands, we're hoping it's going to go down. It's at that all-time high right now. I would guess that this new contract is going to add $7,000 to $9,000 to the cost to the town
Per year.
per year.
How many towns do you guys do in the area? Just,
So, Town of Wallingford just signed a contract almost exactly like you guys are looking at right now for the
Yeah.
recycling.
yeah.
The Town of Wells, same thing. When all these contracts were put in place 10 years ago, they were all done almost at the same time. So I'm working with the Town of Pittsburgh, Town of Killington, Town of Ludlow, Cavendish. Cavendish has signed exactly the same contract as well. Yeah.
They just signed it?
Cavendish signed it last year, but the Town of Wells signed the contract in April, and Wallingford signed it in June.
Is there anybody else that's doing recycling?
Sorry?
Is there anybody else doing the recycling like you're doing it?
You're talking zero sort?
What's that?
You're talking zero sort?
Yes.
Single stream recycling.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the only facility in the area that can process
I'm
the
just double checking.
So even if another company picks you up, it's gotta go to
Goes
the
there,
MRF.
yes, I understand.
Now, how's this work on, like, on the metal bin? The metal's up. Has there been a return on that? I don't know how
Well,
to read
I
this here.
believe we haul that to Rutland County Solid Waste.
Up by the high school there?
No, that's Cleveland.
Yes,
Oh,
I believe that's where we take it, but we could look at other options to take it to. And I'm not sure if they're rebating you back money or not. I mean, that,
We haven't seen a rebate in a long time.
On the metal bin?
yeah, so there's a metal recycler in Pittsburgh that we're using now that Max Steel closed down, and they're paying us okay for metal, so we could take the metal there. If that's what you guys want to do.
Pittsford's up there where the guy has the cars as well.
Used to be Keys
Yeah,
on Plains Road.
The name escapes me right now.
that doesn't matter, so, yeah.
I personally would authorize them to take it wherever we're gonna get the best return so that it
Absolutely.
benefits the account. I mean, that's what we want, right? So.
Yeah, if we're gonna take it to up to Pittsburgh, I'd have to adjust the haul rate.
Trip
by-
charge.
By a few dollars because of the further distance. But I would rebate you 100%.
So we just get charged for a trip charge.
When it goes.
There it goes.
now when do we have to make the final decision on? Is there a time frame?
Well, right now. Obviously, I'd like to get I would like to start charging for the recycling the way it's in this contract, October 1st, so that we can stop paying to get rid of your recycling for you. But, I mean, you know, as soon as possible.
But technically, our current contract's not up till January.
No, your current contract expired. It expired in January.
What was I reading that said that we were till December 31st of this year?
December 31st of last year.
So you've been doing us a favor for
I have.
9 months. So let me ask the board, what would that, our total,
You know how I am. So the last time we received a metal rebate was August 21st of 2019. So, sorry. What was your question?
so what would this do to our budget? We dealt with this right
Our
now.
budget's already out of the water, so don't even ask the question. It's gone. We are, you know, we already subsidize the transfer station,
Right.
and we
do.
run over every year. So this is gonna
But
add.
there's a lot of
So
public
right
here.
now, we budget to expense about $50,000 a year for the transfer station. And last year, we expended just under that at $48,000. So we're budgeting pretty close to where we're expecting. So, I mean, you would be, in essence, increasing at budget time, you'd be looking to increase by $10,000, right?
So that would be a total of what? If looking at
You'd
your,
be increasing from $50,000 to $60,000 for expenses for the transfer station.
Could you give us a figure of what like trip charge would be for additional to go to differ for like the metal
Yeah, I
bags?
mean, I would just say we could probably add $20 to, I think it's 190 right now, so we're going 210.
Yep.
That's what trip charge is, 190 right now.
Well, Mr. Chairman, in my mind, I mean, recycling is important to me individually to do as much as possible. Whatever we need to accomplish that, we need to accomplish it. And that may mean a discussion on the rate we charge for incoming materials at the transfer station.
So from a state perspective, you cannot charge for recycling, but you can increase the
Yeah,
charge
garbage.
for trash.
Yeah, exactly.
so that's what we would have to,
On the revenue side of things last year, just so that there's a clear understanding to the public, we budgeted to bring in $12,000. Again, we budgeted $50,000 expense, budgeted $12,000 revenue, and we brought in $10,600. So the taxpayers are substantially subsidizing the transfer fee. So it's, regardless of if you raise it, you're never gonna raise it that much.
Of course not.
No,
But
but
it's still better than having to go alongside the road and pick garbage up.
sure, but the question becomes what we're 6 months in, so you're talking about go on the high side and say a $6,000 overage
Yep.
on a budget that's already over, so it's gotta come from somewhere.
Well,
In fact.
you have a healthy fund balance right now, so we had, set to reduce last year's fund balance by a pretty substantial amount and didn't come close because we had collected a substantial amount of delinquent taxes. So I know that there was some talk about what to do with some of that money, whether we should move that to the equipment fund or whether we move part of that to municipal buildings fund. So maybe part of that needs to pick up the overage for recycling.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the, well, what's the pleasure? What's board's pleasure? Do you wanna call it that? Is there any,
Well, I mean, we have a proposed contract, and it's not likely we're gonna get any competition. So we have a choice of yes or no with that contract at some point. Do we do it tonight? Or do we wait a couple of meetings to lick our wounds and recover, or before we make the motion? I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to, it's gotta be done.
yeah,
So I'm in favor of moving ahead on it, but that's just me.
so you're making a motion?
I certainly can make of that motion, I will. I move that we enter into a contract with Casella for, our recyclables. I don't know how else you wanna word it, but
It's for 5 years, correct?
Yes,
The new contract?
5-year contract.
sure.
All right,
Can you add to the motion slight change to the metal pricing that I can follow up with?
Sure.
yeah. Is there a second to the motion for discussion?
I'll second it for discussion, but I'd like to know, can we do a shorter term so that we can get our budgets trued up here and get things? I mean, can we do a stopgap to get us to June 30 of next year so that in November we can have a real conversation about this? Because we got a lot to look at.
Can you do a 1-year contract?
Well, it's not even a 1 year. We're looking for a stopgap for the next 6 months.
I could do that, but then at the end of that 6 months, I have the ability to change my pricing. So if you sign a 5-year agreement, the pricing is set.
Set,
Set and it's based on.
which
increases.
makes more sense,
It's locked in.
yeah. Because the price, everything's going up, so I think it would be a good idea at this point. When we do budgets, there's some things that we can cut out and help with this. So are you still willing to make a second?
I seconded it for the discussion, yeah. No, I'll stand by my second.
Okay, well, then if that's the case, we have a motion made and seconded. We've had discussion. Is there any input from the community? You're hearing this whole discussion.
Seems logical that a 5-year contract makes a better
Deal.
benefit to the town
Yeah,
and
Yes.
pricing, and then you have a solid budget line item in there.
Yep.
when you
Give
do
you
your
time to
budgets
figure it out.
going forward, then
Like you said, I don't like green up day and having to pick up all the trash on the corner.
on a head of the road,
Trust me, I
yeah.
pick up a fair
It's still
amount.
up there too.
Yeah. All right. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. And
Aye.
I go aye as well. I'll vote. Cash?
Alright.
Aye. Rob?
I don't like being over the barrel, but I.
Okay, so
Same way.
is it, do you have any to sign? Did you put that in here?
There is a copy in your packet, but I don't know if you want to sign it without the metal thing being changed.
Let me update that page, I'll get that to Katie
All
Yep.
right.
tomorrow. And then you can sign it, she can scan it to me and I'll send you back a signed copy.
Sounds like we got a deal.
Thank you.
No, thank you for coming down. I appreciate all you folks weighing in. So that was good. Thanks a lot.
I'm not gonna stay, but.
Approval of select board warrants. We have a pile of information here if you want to take a look at it.
2 piles.
2 piles, that's right. Jan McCoy.
Oh.
Please,
That is me.
yes. Did I wake you up?
No, no, no. I was just thinking of Green Up Day. So, I'm here, representing, the East Street, people from the bridge
Mm-hmm.
to the bump road, and then from the bump road down to Route 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm just kind of going to go over some of the things that have happened in the past year. So I don't remember the exact date that we had a Zoom meeting about the bridge being closed, but there were quite a few of us on that at that meeting, and one of the topics that was brought up was the increased traffic that would be on those roads due to the bridge being closed. So we were told at that meeting that there would be more patrols on the road by the county sheriff. So since the closure, I will say the traffic has definitely increased. I mean, I'm just speaking from where I live. I don't know if you guys know where I live.
I do.
I know you do, but I live right as you go up to the top of the bump road, make a left. My house is the first house on the left, right
Yep.
across from that little trailer. It's really narrow right there. And so there's been a lot of people speeding on the road, coming up that hill where it's very narrow and there's a lot of gravel there. There's also a lot of speeding on the bump road as well. So I noticed that a couple things as I was reading through the past meeting notes from the board meetings that there was someone that brought this up in May 8th, and apparently there was a Sergeant Cross that handed out cards, said that they were going to put up patrols, I guess, on the bump road, which is fine. But and then in the last 2 months, I think I actually asked Mike to send me the log of the Rutland County Sheriff's Department for the last 6 months. So I took some time to go through that, and I actually have a printout. If anybody wants to see it, I can pass it out. I don't have enough for everybody.
Read that and then pass it.
You guys have it too, of all the times that the Sheriff's Department have been on the bump road or East Street. Or East Street. Now, some of them on the little printout I made, the sheriff is moving and including East Street, and some of them are stationary. So, and it's hard to tell how much time they've been on East Street and Bump Road. But nowhere does it say that they've been on the East Street from the Bump Road down to the bridge, which is the area that I'm talking about. So, because East Street goes from there all the way down to Wallingford. So that's a little disturbing for me because you just don't see the sheriff over there. So after I started going through it, I came up with this, that in February, the county sheriff was on East Street or Bump Road one time, March one time, April one time. The bridge was closed in May. So in May they were there 6 times. June they were there 0 times, July 7 times, and August 3 times. These are just 3 times that the sheriff was present on our road, on East Street and or Bump Road. So I also noted that there was a meeting on June 26th where there was a commitment from the sheriff to have more presence on the Bump Road on East Street. So I'm not sure if I'm agreeing with that's actually happening, because I can see what's going on with the increased traffic from the bridge being closed.
Yep.
It's everybody going up that road, going to work. There's a lot of kids on that road, bikes, walkers, dogs, you name it, it's on that road. So I have a few questions. I don't know if I should just list my questions first, right now. So,
We have the sheriff in the back there, if he wants to, wanna cut in a little bit and have a,
Any questions that you can fire away and we'll do our
okay.
best.
So my first question is Route 7 and Route 103, are they covered by the state police or sheriff?
They would be covered by both, actually. We don't spend a lot of time on 7. 103, you do have residents that come directly onto the highway that we'll hear at the store of like, oh, there's an issue with speeding, so there may be some time spent in both areas on a small amount, but I don't think it's a large amount of time that you're going to see us on those highways.
Okay, well, you need to read the log. And I guess that is my question. What are we paying for? Like, what does the contract say? Are we paying specifically just for patrolling? Because there's a lot of entries that are for paperwork, meeting for computer issues, dinner breaks, things like that. So, I mean, is that part of our contract here in Clarendon?
It's a full law enforcement contract, so any criminal activity that occurs, not just motor vehicle, but is also handled by us when we're in town.
Okay.
So arrests, DUIs, drug arrests, vandalisms, property accidents, suspicious complaints, stuff like that.
Okay, so like paperwork, is that done on, like, if something, if something occurs in Clarendon, the paperwork that is associated with it that's on our dime, right?
Yes.
yeah, so any
Any paperwork?
yeah, if the
Anything
contract says,
related with town.
yeah,
Yeah, so like what actually at one of the town meetings, it might even been before Dave took over, it might have been back when Steve was still sheriff. He shared with us back then that particularly in North Clarendon, the drug arrests that have started to increase were chewing up pretty significant portions of our contract, which it was at that time that we actually increased the contract 10 hours because so much of our 20-hour contract was getting chewed up by the processing of the individuals that were getting arrested.
So how do you differentiate the amount of time that you spend, like, say, on Middle Road versus East Street? Because both those roads, I mean, I look at the map, they both run parallel to Route 7. I've never counted how many houses are on each one. One's dirt and one's paved. But it's I can count up, what did I have here? A total of 17 times that they were on anywhere on East Street or Bump Road, and they were over on Middle Road over 50 times. So is there any reason why one road gets more coverage than the other road?
It's the officer where they choose to patrol that day. We do have a lot of issues with the school. We get a lot of complaints about the kids driving back and forth at high speed, so that tends, when school starts up, we tend to always get that type of activity that occurs coming to and from the high school. And we get quite a few complaints actually about that type of traffic.
And part of that may also, like what that may be, is some of the other more remote parts of to get to Creek Road or whatever else. We don't just start our patrol, so we patrol our way into it, which like Middle Road is one of the main accesses into the bigger part, whereas Bump and East are kind of on their own.
Right.
So there are times where a patrol down Middle Road, we're patrolling, but we're essentially heading to another area to continue that patrol.
Right. Okay. So what about from the Bump Road down to the bridge? Are you guys going down there at all anymore?
It's been a little while since I've worked over here. I can't necessarily say that I speak on behalf of every officer which is there. I would, from time to time, when I would cover the area, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you.
I'm Sergeant Cross. I was the one that was here at the meeting previously. Yes, I'll be being perfectly honest. In that area, I would focus a little bit more on the other way because that area from there to the bridge, with the bridge closed, isn't getting as much of the through traffic that
Right.
the southern end is. The people on the north end, for the most part, is going to be the residents of the north end.
Yeah, you were there just once, I think. I have it here. I mean. Yes. So we were wondering if some of the coverage in the town could be moved more our way.
I can speak with our officer that's assigned. One of the other things that changes that a little bit is we did at the beginning of August, we did have a personnel assignment change. We've been a pretty young department, so we've been working on kind of learning the strengths of our deputies and things like that, and pairing them up with the strengths of the town. So beginning of August, we actually changed the deputies assigned in all of our patrol towns except one, I believe. So there is also now a different deputy assigned to this area whose strengths and expertise more aligns with what the town is looking for. And I don't have one for it, we can pass them around, but I can give you some of this right now. These are the numbers for the town since that change has gone through as well, with that kind of more strength-focused assignment that we've done.
So, Sergeant Cross, what I'm hearing you say is, though, that you will pass it along.
I will,
that
absolutely.
we'd like.
I will speak with him about spending a little bit more time, making sure that he's hitting some on the dead end, or the bridge side of it.
Yeah.
That's closed off, we can
Okay.
absolutely.
I think
but-
also, the sheriff's department is always willing to take down your driveway address so they can sit in your driveway. So if you would like that, you can email them the address and allow them to sit in your driveway.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest issue, and we've discussed this before, the biggest issue is townwide, countywide, statewide, everybody is seeing issues with increases in speed, distraction, cell phones, crashes, reckless behavior behind them. Everybody is seeing an uptick in it. We get complaints directly and everything from all areas of all of our towns. Sometimes it's hard to try and prioritize which one's where. We try to spread them out, but 30 hours out of 200 hours a week, we can only cover so much in those 30 hours.
I do know that from having lived over that side of town there for a while, the bridge was, shortcuts.
Sure.
And so now people are trying to make up time, and they going down bump road pretty fast too.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
just,
I-
I mean, the speed limit on those roads is 25. I can tell you people are,
Oh yeah, I know.
they're flying by our house. I mean, I'm just bringing it up to the board because, I mean, maybe nobody will get hurt, I don't know, but
Yeah, I
they're-
usually go up there twice a week because I like to see the
Progress.
process that they're making on the bridge.
Right.
But then I park I can't remember his name, in the big white house. I'll pull in his driveway and just watch cars fly by there. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The
on
speed
bump
on the
road.
quarter line
Yeah,
roads,
bump
the speed on the quarter line road's the same way. I
Same
was
way.
up there over the weekend and they're going down the road at 45 miles an hour easily. So,
Easily.
yeah, it's townwide,
Until they
like
get to
the
the
sergeant
flats at the
said.
bottom and then they speed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like the sergeant said, it's not just us, it's everybody.
Yeah.
Well, just to reiterate, we have probably double the traffic because the bridge is closed.
Yes.
So we were just hoping for a little bit more coverage. Maybe you'll have to move it from somewhere else, a few more hours. And that may change the behavior.
I think Sergeant Cross is hearing you, and let's, give us a citizens report from time to time if you start seeing more.
Well, they go
effort.
by so fast, I mean, we don't even have time to,
No, I'm talking about the sheriff sitting over there,
I
more
really-
often.
And also, just a reminder that George is our liaison to the sheriff's department. So,
Yes,
so,
yes.
Okay.
so, like, you can feed things to George too. Like, if there's a one of the things that they always ask us for is there, we're seeing it really crazy from 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. Like those types of things, and they'll try to target times if they're available to really target specific times. So if it's the afternoon, people are getting home from work and they're flying up through, that type of thing. Been really responsive to that too.
I know some folks here have my number, but I'll give it to anybody that wants it. Give me a call if you want to jot it down.
I do. Go ahead,
I
George.
can also say it's a little later in the season than we hope, but with some of the speed surveys and stuff, I believe end of this week or beginning of next week, the speed cart will be coming into town for the speed survey on your other two roads,
Yeah.
out of the three you were looking at. And then the third week of that, it is slotted to go on Bump Road for a week to 2
All right,
weeks.
that was
So-
one of my solutions, was the speed cart,
That-
because
that
I
is-
know that we have one,
That
right.
is scheduled up, and it'll probably be about 3 weeks. We want to try and get the speed study done before we start getting too much other, and then it's going to go up on.
Do you guys also have the car counters out?
The speed cart does a count. We have a data logger that we can put in there, and it counts every car and what the speeds are as they
On
go
a couple
by.
of the roads in town, there was like on East Timoth Road, there was a little square box that was,
Oh, those aren't ours, that's the state. puts those
That's
out.
AOT.
Yeah,
That's
the state.
I was wondering why they did that. I mean, the
Yeah, they
traffic,
they measure traffic,
yeah.
how much traffic's on the roadway.
Okay, telephone number. Are you ready? 802-747-8189.
Can I
So,
ask the sergeant a quick question? If you were to sit on Bump Road between, let's say, 7 and 8, whenever the high traffic volume is, and you actually gave somebody a ticket, how many tickets do you think you'd have to give out before people would start to slow down?
Honest opinion, those few would probably change for 4 to 6 months. And the ones that we saw, the ones that just pass by and see the lights, a couple of weeks, and then they would probably start creeping back up.
so I have another solution, although my better half here doesn't particularly agree with me.
No kicking now.
That's
No
not-
kicking.
And I know that they did this in Charlotte, because after they did the mobile radar count, they decided to do seasonal speed bumps. So they put speed bumps on the roads, on dirt roads, and that made a significant difference in the way people drove. So I don't know if that's something that would be considered a solution here.
You
My
have to
first
ask,
question is, what's our liability?
I was going to say the problem is it opens us up to liability if cars get damaged.
But,
They can
yeah,
come after the
I
town.
don't think if you're going 25 over a speed bump, you're going to get damaged. So if you're going over 25 on the speed bump and you get damaged, isn't that your fault?
you guys don't put those out
Go-
in, no.
We go to Rutland
Because-
Hospital to the parking lot. You wanna go about 10 miles an hour or less, hopping over those things.
Well, they come in various heights. They come in speed bumps. They also come in what's called a speed table. So it is a solution.
my question would be, you'd have to have a lot of signage and a lot of preparation notice, I would think, before you do something like that, because if you just did it,
It might even require a ordinance change, actually.
that's what I was wondering too.
We
But-
did notice that they make some that just roll out. So like come winter, you can just roll
Roll
out
it back in, yeah.
Yeah.
in the town garage.
I'll tell you what, let's just box up and flood an area, make it in the mud and have it.
Well, we'll have
Turn our
that.
roads the other way.
We'll have that issue eventually. So that'll slow them down.
Better
Of
not.
course, there's that natural speed bump, somebody referred to them as potholes.
You can take some of ours.
Yeah.
We have some experience with that up on Quarter Line Road.
Well,
Why do you?
I know that I have been on that road several times when people have gone by me so fast. I'm just saying to myself, thank God I'm aware, I'm looking, I'm aware of it. But if there's a child there who just happens to out, I mean, the speed limit's 25, and if you get someone going by you at 50,
You can't control.
no,
you know.
especially on a dirt road. I'm just pointing it out.
All right,
Oh, in addition to the speeding though, we also had a bunch of break-ins in cars too.
that's what we,
That's our next topic.
That is your
To
next
see if there's
topic.
an update at all on the
Okay.
situation with the car break-ins.
All right.
Before you get to there, Michael,
I came to lobby for Creek Road. With all I hear going on, I now just want to mention, I'm about a mile down from Walker Mountain,
Yeah,
and there's a cluster of about 7 houses there
yeah,
with a bunch of kids as well. And just to our south, there's a curve down to the north. And it's very difficult crossing that road without listening. You can't just look. You have to tell what's coming because you get partway across the road. And especially, that's a bypass for Route 7 for
Yeah.
one thing.
yeah.
And like the lady said, at commute times, especially going home, they're going quite fast.
Yeah,
And, can have someone look at that area, maybe park there once in a while, even though it probably won't help in the long run. I feel better about it.
what's your house number?
3194.
All right, can you write that down?
Right.
And if,
Right by the Valco power line.
yeah, I know where it is, but I didn't know the house number. And if at some point, could we have a sheriff parking in your driveway?
I mentioned in the email to you guys, I don't think that would do that good because you can see, but you can't hide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually, you have a pull off just south of
That
you
pull-off that you put in, just to the north of our property.
and north there.
Yeah,
There
that would
is,
work, yeah.
where you pulled that big boulder out of our property, and where you
On-
put it, that's
Oh, yeah.
kind of like a spot that somebody,
That
if they wanted to.
they wanted to
could
set
park.
up there, that'd be a perfect spot.
I think up the flats of the bump road would be even better.
But that's not the road I know it happens there, but it's happening
All the way
coming
through.
from the bridge up that hill.
Yeah,
Right, that's
Yeah.
where it is.
and that's blind too.
It's
It's supposed-
blind and there's a curve and it's really narrow
We're
there.
pulling off Bump Road and heading north towards the bridge. You can't see around that corner.
Nope.
Did you really want that rock on your lawn for lawn ornament? I would have left it there.
I know, every time I walk by it, I say that.
There's been less mowing.
Okay.
But the sheriff could sit right there.
Mhm.
That's a great spot, actually.
That's nice and hard right there.
Yeah, it is. There's lots of gravel
What
there.
address is that by?
We are at 2361. We're right before Sonia Lane. But if you're going towards the bridge, right past Sonia Lane, there's a gigantic rock there, and you could sit right there.
It just got put there last year,
It's
out of the road.
big.
So you have the opportunity to have your own rock concert.
Don't go there, George.
What's that?
A rock concert?
Sure. You
Okay.
got the rock.
George is old school.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
So I guess to keep things moving along, the other thing was just an update on the theft situation. I know rumor was the person got picked up and of course immediately got turned back loose, but
So a lot of the ones in Clarendon ended up getting handled by the state police, so I don't have full details.
Okay.
I know they had a primary suspect. They were working on gaining the evidence to be able to charge in some of those. I do believe there were a couple of charges filed on the suspected individual, which was not enough to hold. But they are doing that, which is also where, if you look at some of the stuff on the ones that I just gave you, that's where some of those activities, the directed patrols, the suspicious, checking some of those areas that are, going through the towns, checking some of the areas where they tend to park to go walk. I can say that one of those actually led to, 2 weeks ago, Sheriff, I believe, Corporal Clarendon, car search.
Oh, yeah.
Ended up out of that vehicle to individuals that are regularly with the other suspects, and ended up, we removed crack cocaine, some suspected heroin, some suspected fentanyl, and some other narcotics. We're waiting for lab test results on some of that. But these are the people that are historically have been engaged in that behavior. So we are checking some of those areas. We are catching them some before they're getting out. But and there's just, again, there's a lot of ground to cover, and we try to catch them in the more anticipated areas, but sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah, and you weren't the only town that was feeling that pain. There was a lot of towns around that were having the same problem. And there again, we'll try to be, make sure we remind the towns to lock your car doors, because they're not breaking into them, they're just going in unlocked cars.
Sure.
So if the cars are locked, they're just walking by and going to the one that's not locked. And that would save a lot of problems for people.
Please do not leave firearms in
Yeah, don't leave your guns in your car.
Particularly an unlocked car.
I was surprised at how many of those have been stolen, but I would say at this point, maybe the person might be locked up, because we haven't had any, knock on some wood, for a month now, I guess, so
Let's see that again, knock on wood.
Yeah.
All right,
Can I ask one more question?
yes.
When the box, the speed digital.
Speed cart.
Speed card, okay. When is that gonna be coming, you said?
It should be in town probably end of this week or beginning of next week, but it's going to start on Creek Road and Alphresia for the speed study that
Yep.
the town was looking at for a possible ordinance change. I did look into it. The one on Middle Road from last year is still within time to be able to be used, so we don't have to redo that one. And then after those, it's about a week per road. After those 2 weeks, it will go over to Bumper.
It will, okay.
hopefully the weather
We're
holds for us, so
discussing-
Cash doesn't have to plow around it when he's
So,
I didn't see it.
Yeah, still hear that.
when the data is collected from, the readout, what's the process, what do you do after that?
I have no idea. What do you,
Well, as far as the speed study and that's used, I'll be honest, I'm limited in knowledge on that, but that is used by the town to determine if they are going to reduce or modify a speed limit in the ordinance. That's one of the state requirements for that, is that they have to do a speed study. What we do with it is we take it and it breaks down usually by the hour, how many vehicles and what the speed limit ranges are. So I then take a look at that as the patrol commander assigning it, and I give it out to the deputies for those towns, and we discuss. So they utilize that to try and target the highest traffic areas with the highest speed issues to be as productive as possible. So if we have this area that between 6 and 8 p.m. there's daily 10 to 15 cars that are 20 plus miles over the speed limit, we're going to have them in that area during that 2-hour block to try and reduce those significant high speeds, reduce the crashes, and get the presence felt. And then we'll go through and use it.
So the data will be given to the board?
We email it to the town once
Oh,
we
okay,
get
so
that.
then it's public knowledge?
Yes.
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 Yep.
I'm wondering with that too, if that could be added in the late spring, early summer for the Quarter Line and Schoolhouse Hill Road.
Yeah, if that's where you'd like it, you need to contact Sergeant Cross, because it's quite popular, and we get a list that we
I was
run
gonna say, you guys
to
are
where it
running
needs
the
to
map
go,
on
and we
it
only
all
have
the
one,
time.
and
Yeah.
and State Police doesn't run theirs any longer,
Yeah.
so it's in demand.
Quarter Line at least.
Quarter line, and what was the other that you?
Schoolhouse Hill Road.
Schoolhouse Hill.
Well, this is an early request, so maybe we can get in line faster than somebody else.
Yeah, did you write that? You're
I'm
writing that
writing
down.
it right now, sir.
Thank you,
Putting you on the list right now.
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.
Like the biggest thing with that, we do try to prioritize things like speed surveys that the town government may be waiting on that. But then after that, then we go through.
Yeah, we've had a request on speed limits in town, particularly the ones listed at 40 miles an hour. In terms of considering going to 35, was that what it was?
Yeah,
Can't remember.
dropping town-wide down to,
And I don't have any objection to that kind of notion, but it's been my experience anyway, is that it don't matter. People that are gonna go 50 are gonna go 50 unless they get nailed
Or they run over a speed bump.
or something of that nature, yeah.
Well, I think before we totally move on,
I have a quick question. I've always been curious between Middle Road and Creek Road. Why is Alphresia at 40 and Walker Mountain's at 35?
that's
There are-
one of the things that's being looked at. That's
Yeah.
why the
Because
speed
there's
cart's gonna be there.
homes on Alphresia. There's one on the corner and then A1 on Walker Mountain Road. And it makes no sense that one that has houses on it is a higher speed limit than the other. Just didn't make sense to me. But then a lot of
This is
things
all
don't.
part of what we're trying to establish.
That's all a part of the discussion.
Yeah, that we're trying to,
I, for one member of the board, want to thank you gentlemen that are here tonight. Thank you for what you do to keep our
Definitely.
community
Definitely.
safe. With the significant increased drug traffic, we appreciate you all very much. And I know speeding is always on our minds, but the other issues that are making it more difficult to do your jobs, thank you for all you are doing. So.
And as long as we have, I mean, most of you know me, I've been here on and off over the years, but I'll take a moment and introduce Sergeant Herrick. Sergeant Herrick actually was here 20-some years ago. He was one of my training officers when I started, and we finally got him back after about a 6-year battle between him and I. So, you know, you may be seeing him in and out, both in town and at the meetings as well. So he brings a wealth of knowledge and experience all the way up through being a chief. So he has a wealth of experience. So if you need either one of us, you're welcome to reach out, and we work together pretty much daily anyway. So.
well, thank you very much for taking your time tonight.
Hey, Mike.
And,
Excellent.
yes,
I know, I'd like to make a little comment. I was actually gonna talk to Sergeant Fox. Is there any way to get better quality tires on the cruisers? It is an issue.
I don't like cars and I don't like car equipment and they're always breaking down, but we'll try to do our best.
I did, especially in the snowstorms and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
it
we
has
just
the best-
we
it's
just
like
switched
new mats.
to a different set of Goodyear Eagle tires, so we're running those now. So
Not just all season.
no, they're still aggressive all season.
Okay.
But
That's what I'm coming at.
you're 40 cars, your tire budget goes really high.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But to be safe. You know,
Yeah.
all right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you very
thank
much
you.
for taking your
Thanks very
time
much.
coming down.
Really.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you there.
Good night.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Public comments? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Rick's not here, so, public comments, nobody, old business?
Now, the
New
old
business.
with the quarter
Grand
line
list.
road.
Yeah, okay, because there are folks here who may not know. State certified disabled veterans can get up to $40,000 reduction on the grant list for tax purposes. And there are two groups. There's one group that is permanently eligible. They don't have to, they get on the list once and they stay on the list. And there's another group that has to recertify every single year. And, you know, we're not involved in the approval or disapproval. We just process what the state gives us. And this year, it's my fault, there were two people who had been on the list for annual renewal people, but they're not on the list this year. And we missed that. We were notified by the state last week that these people got the, you know,
Should have been.
Yeah, they got it, they shouldn't have. I verified with the Office of Veterans Affairs to make sure that information was correct. I mean, I verified myself with my own list and said, yeah, okay, it looks like a mistake, but I called them anyway, just in case there was something else.
Different people.
And so those two, you know, I need to adjust the bills, and because this time of year, it has to come through you folks, you know, as opposed to before we, you know, finalize the grand list. And so they're for you, and then tomorrow we will spit out new bills.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the adjustment of both of these grant list corrections.
George seconded. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Alrighty. Heidi, do you have anything you wanna throw out there to the troops?
Taxes are well underway of being collected, and this is just a reminder that taxes are due Saturday, October 14th, 2023. So it's just a few weeks away. I am here most days 10 to 4, and the 2 weeks of those first 2 weeks in October, I'm here Monday through Friday, and then Monday through Saturday. I am here that Saturday, October 14th, from 10 to 4 as well. For those who aren't able to make it into the office, we do accept postmarks as well. So my only warning is please, 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 when you go bring it to the post office, bring it in, make sure you watch them stamp it. Don't just take it to the post office and drop it in the box on Saturday, because they're not likely to stamp it postmarked until Monday. So just trying to save some heartbreak there when those go delinquent because they weren't stamped in time. But yeah, Saturday, October 14th is the property tax due date.
Good. These are all signed and sealed and whatever.
And I'll hide them right here. You want these, Bob?
Yeah, he's got a lot of.
Katie, do you have any?
Yeah, I have a couple things. We got, well, I'm kind of always aware of this, but I just want to make the board aware of it, that our ERAF percentage is 12.5%. That's the Emergency Relief Assistance Fund. So in a FEMA disaster, we'll get 12.5% from the state. We also did get approved for an energy assessment for the town garage and town hall, but in this round, it did not include the transfer station. But we're optimistic that it'll maybe be included in future rounds. As far as the Emergency Watershed Protection Program, last meeting we sent in a letter requesting assistance for 2 sites, one being the Otter Creek and the other being Cold River Middle Road Bridge area. So we did have someone from NRCS come look at those sites, and the Middle Road Cold River Bridge area was not eligible. So he's going to work on the debris in the Otter Creek. Also, I sent an email to Shrewsbury to see if they wanted to collaborate on a river maintenance plan, and of course they wanted to know if costs would be involved. So I would like to take the next step and ask Fitzgerald Environmental about maybe pricing on a river maintenance plan.
All right.
So
I was going to say, I don't think there's any harm in getting prices
Nope.
on what it's going to cost. But going back to Middle Road for a second, so you're saying the damage to Middle Road Bridge was not covered? They're not going to cover it?
well, this is gonna FEMA will cover what we
Yeah, a
did.
different program. This
Okay,
is
so
where
FEMA's going to cover that, but this program won't.
We wanted to do further.
Just wanted to make sure I understood. 'Cause-
NRCS won't because it's out of state.
We were hoping to
Okay.
do more up the creek.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Now
There
I
were certain
understand now.
eligibility requirements,
If there-
and
If there was actually a building or house or a barn right next to the where it washed out up there,
Oh, yeah.
they would handle
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Yep.
And there isn't.
You want to do that tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can make the motion or something, whatever you want.
I just got a letter from the Planning Commission, and it's dated, well, they're having a meeting over there. To the members of the Clarendon Select Board, the Clarendon Planning Commission voted to recommend Carol Geary as a member of the Planning Commission at its meeting today. We respectfully request that you vote to appoint her at your earliest convenience. Is there a motion?
I will certainly move. She's been on the planning commission before and has always done an outstanding job. So I would move that we appoint her.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? There you go.
Why don't you just say passed and sign it for the board or something?
And hand it to him.
Sure.
she would be filling. Is it the last vacant spot on the planning commission?
I was going to say that puts it up to a full house, right?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I have the term correct.
Did you get all the names of our visitors?
I have a list here, so I'm hoping that's everyone. Everyone signed in.
I didn't.
Okay.
Here's George. Yep, I'll deliver it if you want it. Sure.
So yes, I think that is the last spot that was left vacant, and it will expire 2026.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get it.
Okay. Cash, you have any concerns?
All set for now.
Good.
I'm good. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we enter into executive session to discuss our personnel issues.
I'll second it.
All in favor of the motion? There's three of us here. George?
Yes.
Just had a motion to go into executive session.
Okay.
Yes, aye?
Aye, sure.
All right, good. Thank you guys for
Thank you
coming
for
down,
coming.
appreciate it.